I love flavors. My name is Caitlin Corcoran. I'm a bartender. I work at Port Fonda and Manifesto. We are at the Guild, Kansas City, for the Regional Barista Competition. 16 states, North and South Central, so it's the whole Midwest. I've only been a bartender since August, but I've always been in love with flavors and beverages. I started getting into that when I was like 17. My mom was one of the first baristas in KC. They're like the first place to do French press like in the 70s. So she always was doing like scientific brew methods at home, and I got really into it. And when I wanted to get a high school job, I was like, I want to work in coffee. And like 3 years after I started competing. The barista competition's 3 courses. 15-minute presentation. You have to serve single espressos, traditional cappuccinos, and a signature drink. Because you're looking for the same things you're looking for in a cocktail. Balance, like the tactile feel on the palate, and just where it hits, sweet, savory, salty, bitter. When you're kind of creating or trying to devise it, you want the espresso to be the main star and just accent it, bring out certain notes. And that's how it is with cocktails a lot of times. At least my favorite cocktails, you still taste the base spirit, but it can't have any alcohol, like not even an extract. So that's one of the reasons that I've stopped competing. I found it a little bit limiting and kind of switched over to bartending because I feel like there's more flavors to play with. That being said, coffee was a great start to get into it because you can't really bartend as a 17-year-old. Coffee over the past couple of years has been really compared to wine because the terroir totally affects how it is. Each region does taste different. Like Central Americans usually tend to be a little bit more citrusy. South Americans, a lot of Brazils are really, really nutty, lots of chocolate. And then you get into Indonesia and Sumatra, and those are super earthy. When you're making a cocktail for the first time, you want to make sure that it's something that you can replicate. So that's why with coffee cocktails, anytime people use espresso or something, it's really hard to work with because espresso is more volatile. It changes from each shot to each shot. So when thinking about coffee and cocktails, I really like the idea of using the cold brew coffee method, and from there you can use it into a cordial. Or I really think that using the concentrate by itself in a cocktail really works nicely. I do like the idea of if you can train your staff to do a pour over, to use pour overs, because I think that it could be a really nice warm drink. It just, the time element of it would probably be the only thing that might be worrisome. But with the ice pour over, you do get the nuances of each region. Like you can get berry notes, you can get apple notes, more so than you can in a toddy, just because you're brewing it with hot water over ice. So the chemical reactions are different. Definitely you have to think about the region and what flavors you want to play with. Since working at Port Fonda, I've become really obsessed with mezcal, super obsessed. I'm a mezcal-aholic. And so I really like the idea of using mezcal with coffee cocktails because it's grown next to each other. It's even cooler to use a Mexican coffee that could be from Oaxaca to kind of get the terroir from that same single village and pair it together because it was grown next to each other. Of course they work together, you know? With fruitier Ethiopians, I think they would work really well with a Citadel or a really botanical gin. The baristas are doing the exact same thing the bartender is, it's just with a different medium. Since I've been doing service industry since I was 17, that's something that's been drilled in my head. Customer service is key. So I think that that experience really made me realize how important it is to talk to the customer and to establish a rapport. Also, if you are at a bar or, behind a coffee bar counter, you get regulars, and it's important to build a relationship and to have them trust you. Because you're not going to get someone who drinks a 16-ounce mocha or a Red Bull vodka to immediately get an espresso shot or a Manhattan up. That's not but if you can work with them and you can introduce them to drinks that can gradually ease them into it, that's the cool thing about the hospitality side. I have regulars that followed me from being a barista to bartending just because they were you know what I want, you know what flavors I want, you understand my palate, which is really cool.